Very good late afternoon to you all. Um, it's been quite a busy period this Easter, April of every year. As you all know, April and December are difficult months to get things done due to all the public holidays. But anyway, it's good to be back online, and I would like to discuss my topic to you today, and that is to prepare the children for what lies ahead, to prepare our children for what lies ahead. Please remember to press the like button, share, subscribe, and press the notification button for our latest videos. Right, as I've mentioned, I'm going to talk about what we need to discuss with our children. Um, and I know it's not an easy topic, but I would like to start off by saying I read an interesting comment, and it goes like this from one of the listeners regarding preparing and engaging with family and friends about the present situation in the country. But this is what was said. Some of us cannot even convince our wives and families of the unraveling disaster looming. Um, this is what is going on. And we just have to accept that a very small percentage of people truly understand how committed the Southlanders and the Southland Defence are and how much sense they make with all the videos that go out. It further goes on to say, it will be a small comfort to say, I told you so, when it's too late. So thank you to you and your colleagues for your hard work and dedication. Thank you very much for that comment. We appreciate it. Right, so uh, as parents, it's our duty to inform our children about historical truths because presently in our schools, our histories are being removed and are being changed to fit today's political purpose. And we need to address this and we need to correct this because it's not going to happen if we don't do it. Right. So when we talk to our children, our teenagers, and I must also include the wives in this one due to the comment that um, was mentioned with the last video 2 or 3, is that we have a difficult task at hand to inform our children, wives, and friends of the present situation in the country. As I said many times before, we carry on with our daily lives, we carry on with our living and our commitments and responsibilities, but we need to be aware of what is going on the political platform. So it's also important that we need to share this with our children. But our approach is what's important is how we're going to approach this situation in the country with our family members. Okay, because at the end of the day, if our children are equipped with the correct knowledge, we all know that this then equips them for and gears them for what lies ahead in life. Because there's a lot of psychology involved here, and a lot of trauma can happen if our children are not prepared for what's lying ahead, what's going on in our country today. Because when they leave school or leave university, they step out into this big world unequipped. So let's do our best and start now. There's no better day than the present to start educating and sharing videos, newspaper articles. Obviously, with minors, it's different approach, and of course, with teenagers, then you can show a bit more. But use the YouTube videos; they're very informative. Social platform is excellent in carrying the message over to your children, and of course, with your wives. Well, on the political front, I think it's important. I know it's important that we need to discuss the politics and politicians with our children. I would then propose you explain on a piece of paper, if you so wish, the different political parties, mainly their leaders, their prominent players in each party, the ANC, the RET. I have to mention RET because there's a split there, and the RET forces are not going to go away, and of course the FF and the DA. discuss their different leaders, show pictures of what they look like, and also I think it's important to explain their respective military associations and affiliations. Further, under the political banner, explain to the children and your wives why the Democratic Alliance can't govern in a coalition government, as mentioned before in our previous videos, why this coalition arrangement can't work, and why still to this very day we don't get service delivery. Also, explain why the political structures can't work. And I would like to use the July 2021 riots as a perfect example. The defense and police appointments nationally have obligation, have an oath to protect people and their businesses from any form of pilferage and destruction. This can't be done because of the various defense and police and intelligence heads have political appointments. So the structure can't work. But explain to the kids now so the seed is planted, so that going forward in the future or future generations, this can be fixed. Also, I think what's important is that our public holidays that come up, and I would like to mention the human rights public holiday and the freedom public holiday. This needs to be explained to our kids. Why do the politicians keep on with the racial division against the minority groups? Explain this to the children and, of course, your wives. And if they don't want to listen, as that comment was mentioned before, keep hammering it, keep discussing it. Don't let it go. Let it go. It's very, very important that the family members know what's going on in the country. You, as the head of the house, as the man, it's your responsibility to keep on this, keep at this. If we look at the Freedom Day that took place yesterday, Wednesday, the 27th of April, it goes about celebrating democracy and freedom in South Africa. Now, think about it. Freedom Day talks about democracy and freedom in South Africa. There's no such thing. And this needs to be explained to the children why this is a farce, why this thing is not true, so that they don't go through life blinded by what's going on with media and the mainstream service stations. All right. Most public holidays speeches should be about promoting nation building, but of course it's not. And this is one of the reasons why your loved ones, your children and your spouse, your wife, need to know as to why you need a plan, an alternative plan in the times of anarchy. The civilians with the Saterlanders and the people that have any form of military or police training or correctional service training to be with the Southland Defence guys. What's important also to discuss with your loved ones is Eskom. Yes, they do know about load shedding, but do they know the details? Do they know that the load shedding and the reason for no power in the country at most times is due to corruption, is due to the BE appointments made by the ruling political party, and there's just no maintenance done. All that money and budgets that were allocated for maintenance has gone into salaries and bonuses. And also, what's important to mention to the children and the teenagers specifically is why illiteracy has increased in February of this year to 20.5%. This is the increase that Eskom has asked, but NERSA has granted just a 9.5 or 9.6%, which is half. But still, it's a lot of money. But what's important also here is that the municipalities are going to add up another surcharge on the existing increase from Eskom. So it just adds up. All these costs just add up, and there's still no service delivery. So it just doesn't work. And I think what's important here is to note that there is just no solution to fix Eskom. We all know it. There is just no money. There's no skill in Eskom. And Eskom at the moment is like being in an IC unit. Now, we all know in the IC unit in the hospital, you have a full-time nurse. Now, with Eskom, I think they've got a couple of nurses looking after Eskom, and they're on the support system, the oxygen support system, and that's a mess. So there's no recovery for Eskom. We all know that. The guys are doing their best. De Ruyter is doing his best, but we're just expecting a national blackout at any stage. That's how we see it. Again, under Eskom, I think there, if you go through all the histories of the present and the present load shedding and blackouts that we have, is the reason why your loved ones need to understand as to why you as a family need a plan, survival plan, a backup plan in times of anarchy with the Suidlanders and with Southland Defence. Also, what's important to discuss with the children and with your wives is the food security. Um, the food that's grown on the farms, how it's collected and delivered, and if there's no power, there's no production and delivery. This needs to be explained to the children so that they're ready for this, because we're heading towards a situation of a national blackout. We can also further explain to our family members that due to Ukraine situation of certain produce that they can't send to Africa and Zimbabwe specifically, will have a roll-on effect, where there'll be more Zimbabweans coming into South Africa from Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, we have to discuss the killing of farmers with our children. I'm not saying you must show them any footage, but they need to know that farmers are being killed, and this has a serious effect on all food security going forward. We can also discuss Kirkwood of late, where certain farms were burnt down and has an effect on citrus delivery. Well, on still with food security, the July riots had a serious impact with certain distribution centers and harbors in Durban, and this has upset and disrupted the whole production line from the coast harbor right through to central South Africa. This needs to be discussed with the kids, why food security is a problem going forward, and again, why the family needs a plan in times of food shortages. And that's why you'll note I'm hammering on associating and joining Southlanders or Southland Defence. Foreigners is a big issue today. It's ongoing with Operation Dudula. Um, you don't know what color is being painted. On one side, they want to chase the foreigners out of the country because they're taking up the jobs, but the South Africans don't want to work. And this is being told to me by various people. I know this too. They don't want to work. They want to just take the foreigners' jobs. And also, they are asking unreasonable wages. So the employer is going for foreigners because their attitude is good and they want the work. So this is important to discuss with the children as to why there's a lot of foreigners in the country, and also one must cover labor unions. The labor unions are unreasonable with wage demands, and this puts their members outside of work. This carries serious stress, and it just contributes to more and more unemployment. And this is due to the fact that the labor unions have a lack of business knowledge and even a more lack of how economy works. Adding to the labor unions, we then have strikes, and we all know what the end result is on a strike. Businesses and factories are burned down, more unemployment, and more foreigners are employed later if there's any form of recovery. So then also with foreigners, we have xenophobia and we have racism, as I've covered before in previous videos. Let the children watch this. Let your spouses watch these videos. Become educated. Get switched on. See what's going on in the country, because this is going to make it easy for you when the time comes to know what to do and when to action what, so that you are ready for whatever's unexpected, and that can be at any time. We have seen of late with Kirkwood the burning of farms and farming implements. And that can happen anywhere in any town. It just happened in Kirkwood, but Kirkwood is a typical example of as to why uh, you need to be part of a plan with the Southlanders and Southland Defence. Of course, we all know about the crime in the country, the ongoing cash heists where they get blown up. We hear regular shopping malls have been robbed, especially jewelry stores. So these are things we need to understand, and you can also Google where South Africa is on the world map in terms of crime. I'm not going to tell you where we are. I would like you, and I'd like to propose you go and Google where South Africa is on the world scale of crime. And again, once you've seen that, you will realize why you need a plan and why you would need to be associated with Southlanders and Southland Defence. Right, so coming to schooling and sport, this is common knowledge with everybody that this racial matters are ongoing at the schools. One should discuss with your children and your spouses how to handle such situations. And of course, what's becoming popular moving forward is homeschooling. One needs to look at homeschooling and online options because I think the schooling situation is going to get worse. Racial issues at schools are not being resolved with the ministers and with government. So I think online schooling is probably a good thing to start discussing with your children going forward. And again, with schooling and sport, we've seen with Graham Smith, the director of cricket, how he was set up. And this is all part of the takeover in schools and in sport. And again, this is the reason why you need to have a plan and to be associated with the Southlanders and Southland Defence. Remember, in closure, when closing off with the children and with your spouse, if there's no economy, there's no work, there's no food, and this all equals anarchy of mass scale. As I said time and time again, all the videos, we keep living, we keep doing our thing. We pray that the government of the day, with all the coalition governments and parties, can pull South Africa straight. But the reality is, when you look at the figures and you look at the end results, you just see one mess upon another. And with Eskom not coming right, with no solution there, and all the points that has already been mentioned, the politicians that don't promote nation building and forgiveness and all those nice things, rather would promote racial division and blame minority groups for why the country is as it is, and foreigners for unemployment. The list goes on and on. You all know this stuff. It's just repetitive matters and aspects being dealt with. Is all the reason why you need to make sure you have a plan. And also, part of your plan is that you need to make sure that your checklists are in place. Your clothes, your vehicles, and your foods, water, and your fuel, your medical supplies, and all these things are ready so that you can, should there be unexpected anarchy like you experienced in Durban of last year or Natal of last year, and of course, as you've seen what happened in Kirkwood in the week, that you can withdraw. But to know all this, to be part of this, you need to be part of the Southlanders or Southland Defence, Suidland Verdediging. As I've said, don't wait until it's too late. Do dry runs, do dry exercises with the family. Maybe try a camping weekend out. Get yourself all geared up and check your stuff, check your equipment. And I would like you to share these videos, communicate with one another when you're at your braais, and remember the 10-10-10 policy or principle. You tell 10 people, tell them to tell another 10 people, and they must tell another 10 people, and this message goes out. It's long overdue for you as the head of the house to engage with your children and your wives. And I know the wives are a difficult one. The wives just have to, they don't want to hear this, they have to listen. They have to listen to the head of the house. So that's your duty, is to make sure your wife and your children are ready. Pray before you engage with them, and pray when you close. And yes, seriously consider joining us. Become part of us, and that you're part of a national emergency initiative or plan initiative, which will give you the best alternative in times of anarchy. And remember, this only happens when government cannot guarantee your safety by any means at all. Follow the links below to join. And again, please like, share on all possible platforms. Subscribe and press the notification button. Looking forward to talking again one day soon. And take care. Stay well and keep sharp. Good night, tot ziens en groete.